one little thing about that, actually, it's a very slight detail. You did this pretty well, actually. When you were doing that slidey double note part, I noticed that you were alternate picking.
What does that mean?
Oh, you were going down and then up and down and then up. Okay. I don't know if you were aware of that.
Oh, not really.
Now, most of the time, alternate picking is actually a very good idea. In a lot of cases, it's really a good way to be able to play much faster. It's very similar to alternate bowing. If you're trying to play a very fast scale on the violin, you're not going to do it all with downstrokes. You have to go down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, right? Unless, of course, you're slurring, and that's a different thing altogether. But, so similarly here, if we're picking every note, going down, up, usually is a good way to be able to go a little faster. So if you watch my pick, you'll notice that I'm going down, up, down, up, down. So I'm doing all that with alternate picking. But when I get to the double note part here, I used all downstrokes. I don't use alternate picking. As soon as I go back to the single stuff, I'm doing my alternate picking, but any idea why?
No.
Well, let's see. See if you can tell the difference. Close your eyes.
Sounds a lot sloppier.
It does, right? The thing about going down, up, like that on two strings, is that you really hear the difference. They don't sound the same at all. The down sounds like that. The up sounds like that. When I play them separate like that, it's hard to tell the difference. But when I'm doing it in the song, you can immediately hear the difference, right? So you get a more consistent sound. And that's true most of the time when I'm playing two strings at a time. Like if I'm doing Sweet Home Alabama, if you watch my pick hand, I'm doing that with all downstrokes pretty much, right? Now when I do the fills, I'll use alternate picking because there's not going to be a big difference in the sound between the down and the up on a single string. It's when you're playing double stops, when you're playing two string chords, even sometimes 3-string chords, I'm a little careful. By the time you get to 4 strings, it doesn't make as much difference again. So I can do this without any problem. But this, I'm going to use downstrokes for all of those guys. Okay, so that's the first thing. Now, the second bit, you finger that a little differently from me, but that's okay. This part, I want you to notice, first of all, that I'm keeping this finger kind of locked down, even though I'm not hitting both strings all the time, because I don't want to have to keep picking it up and putting it back down. Part of the sound, the idea of that unison bend lick, that's what that is, right? We talked about that a little bit, right? What does that mean, a unison bend?
I don't know.
Maybe we didn't talk about it. Okay, so the word unison in music, do you know what that means?
Together?
Yes, it means specifically, that's what it means in general. Good vocabulary. Specifically, in music, unison means 2 instruments playing the same thing together.
Oh.
So you'll hear in the orchestra, for example, sometimes the violins and the flutes play in unison. They play the same part together while the cellos are doing something stupid. Now, the guitar, however, is very unusual among all the instruments. It's one of the few instruments that can do a unison all by itself, because we have several strings. So, for example, there's a famous lick. Your dad will know this right away. You might know it. It goes like this. Do you know that song?
No.
Okay, so that's the beginning of Hey Joe by Jimi Hendrix. Okay, that's a classic Jimi Hendrix tune. It's actually the very first song he ever recorded. And if you'll notice what I'm doing here, if I play the open first string and I play the 5th fret on the 2nd string, they're both E. So if I play them together, I'm playing a unison. In the case of the Jimi Hendrix song, I do a little slide into that, like so. With the bend, unison bend, what I'm doing is I'm bending this note matches this. On the acoustic guitar, that's really hard because it's a bending. Like that. On the electric guitar, you don't have to bend the string nearly so far, but that's the idea. So the point of the unison is that you want to hear the two notes ringing together. So that means you want to keep this finger down. Now, since you're going to have to every once in a while play the two strings, I'm lazy. So I'm going to leave that finger down the whole time, and that way I can put it in when I want, and it's there, and it's also much less movement.
Okay.
So try that. Yes, that's the idea. Good, good. Keep going.